Hey, hey, living environment fans. I'm not in the Kobach compound. I'm in class today setting up for our lab with carbohydrates. And what we're going to do is we're going to use indicators to figure out what kind of solution, what kind of carbohydrates solutions have. So up until now, we've just talked about monosaccharides, disaccharides, and polysaccharides. I'm going to show you ways to test, and then we're going to test a bunch of different things, and we'll use what's called a chemical indicator to do that. But you know what? Today's a good day. We'll do the Bellringer, and then we'll do our next book talk. All right. Hey now.
Mr. Kobach's class. It's Mr. Kobach's class.
You might learn on time.
It's Mr. Kobach's class.
He's interested too.
It's Mr. Kobach's class.
And he's super cool.
It's Mr. Kobach's class.
Man, I love the book talk. I mean, I've really been enjoying reading this book, The Short History of Nearly Everything by Bill Bryson. And the last chapter we read was called Small World, which of course was about small things, which he called microbes. Microbes. So let's do a little book talk. You read this chapter. What's a microbe? In this chapter, Bryson writes, "They will be here when the sun explodes. This is their planet, and we are on it only because they allow us to be." What do you think that means? What's he talking about? In this chapter, Bryson talks a little bit about classification, including the introduction of the 5 kingdom classification. But of course, he said the problem was there were a lot of problems with the microbes. And so Carl Woese, right? He came up with this idea of 3 domains. What were the 3 domains? Then later in the chapter, Bryson talks about how microbes, what he's right. So why are you are bound to ask, do microbes often want to hurt us? What satisfaction can they be? And so that's what I want you to do. What are some of the benefits that Bryson describes as being beneficial for a microbe to make a host unwell? And near the end of the chapter, he talks about bacteria and viruses and how they cause illness. Go back and look at that end of the chapter. Tell me about World War I and microbes. So our next chapter we're going to read in book talk is called The Stuff of Life, again from the same book, Bryson's A Short History of Nearly Everything. And you will be reading, I believe, a little bit about one of the great biomolecules. And that's what we're studying. We're studying organic biomolecules, and in particular carbohydrates. So the rest of this class, we're going to focus on carbs and indicators. How can you use chemicals to do tests on other chemicals? And then if you have lab, you're going to use those indicators to evaluate different carbohydrates. That's if you have that today during lab. If you have lab tomorrow, you'll do that obviously tomorrow. And that'll take us through the next 2 lab periods before it will be due. All right? So, yeah. Let's do it. And remember, we're studying carbs, C-A-R-B-S, not crabs, C-R-A-B-S. Big difference.